And we've got a security breach on the iPad, of course. Gawker on Wednesday reported, I think they were just so thrilled to be able to report this story, that there was a breach on AT&T's website that exposed the email addresses of about 114,000 people who bought a 3G iPad. And a lot of fairly high-profile people, I guess, got exposed. Yeah. What's the latest with this?
It was like, what, 14,000 names? And really,
114,000.
Right. But what's interesting is it wasn't like a file was exposed. These guys literally took a script, and they took all the serial numbers and started to randomly generate numbers, querying the database each time. So they literally had to figure this stuff out. Like every device that's wireless has a serial number on it. So it's not as vulnerable as one might think.
Yeah.
But it's whether they collected that and left it out on torrents for the rest of the world to see is another issue.
Yeah. Well, although AT&T also let a script run at that length from random IP addresses. I mean, whatever you could say about the hackers, the security around the thing was suboptimal, let's say.
Yeah, and it's important to at least give them a certain degree of credit that this wasn't, as you say, it wasn't a file with social security numbers and credit card numbers. It was an association between that wireless chip ID and an email address. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people consider their email address to be relatively closely held information. If you're Rahm Emanuel, who was one of the people who reportedly was caught in this, or if you're the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, your email address is probably not something you want in the hands of, Albanian hackers. Could be a problem. But it is much more of a black eye than a true security threat in the sense of people getting into those people's personal data. Yeah. It's unfortunate, well, it's certainly unfortunate for AT&T, but it's also a tough spot for Apple because it causes a lot of people to say, why are you still forcing us, the consumer, to get in bed with these guys as the only game in town for a carrier for the iPhone and the iPad and now soon the iPhone 4 when they've apparently demonstrated that they can't be trusted to behave in a responsible fashion.
Andy, this is just a black eye at a time that AT&T certainly didn't need this, given some of the yells that we heard at the keynote address the other day. Put it on Verizon.
Yeah, no, AT&T's got to feel as though they've been kind of beat up by all sides. They're almost like British Petroleum at this point. The keynote was not even halfway over before I got a press release from AT&T explaining, okay, all the stuff that's going bad with the iPhone 4, the keynote, it's not our fault. It's Wi-Fi. We repeat, it's not AT&T. Please don't hit us again.
It was ridiculous. All the Wi-Fi issues in the hall, and someone yelled out, put it on Verizon, and Steve said, actually, I'm using Wi-Fi for these demos right now. Please close your laptops, and being the good soldiers, everyone sort of closed their laptops as best they could. But yeah, AT&T was panicked. They're like, no, this has nothing to do with us.